The church was filled with heavy silence, the kind that presses on your chest until breathing feels like effort. The scent of lilies mingled with old wood, and the hum of whispered condolences faded as I walked toward my father's casket. He looked peaceful, the lines of stress and sickness gone, but my heart felt like it had been split in two. He had been my anchor, my comfort, my everything. I thought the pain of losing him would be the hardest part of that day, but I was wrong. My stepmother, Linda, had other plans. She had always been cold, but at the funeral, she was something else, smug, polished, and almost gleeful. I tried to ignore her, focusing instead on the photo of my father smiling beside the flowers. But the storm that was coming didn't give me that chance. When the service ended, people gathered in the hall for the reading of the will. My father's lawyer, Mr. Graham, stood near the front, papers in his hand. I took a seat quietly, trying to hold back tears, when Linda's sharp voice cut through the room. "Before we start," she said, "there's something everyone should know." My stomach tightened. She looked straight at me, her eyes glinting with satisfaction. "She's not really his daughter," she said coldly. Gasps rippled through the room. My hands froze in my lap. I wanted to stand, to shout that she was lying, but I couldn't speak. "Ask the lawyer," she went on. "He knows the truth. John told me everything before he died." Her words sliced through me. My father had never treated me like anything other than his daughter. Every memory I had screamed that she was lying, but at that moment, surrounded by staring eyes and whispering mouths, I felt small, smaller than I ever had before. Linda continued her performance, her voice dripping with fake pity. "I just think it's fair that everyone knows who's really entitled to what," she said, placing a hand on her chest as if she were the victim. I looked at the lawyer, silently begging him to say something, but he just flipped through his papers with a blank expression. The humiliation burned. People who had known me since I was a child were looking at me as though they were seeing a stranger. I wanted to disappear. Linda had taken the one day that should have been about love, memory, and respect, and turned it into her stage for cruelty. The ache in my chest deepened, but beneath it, something else began to stir. I wasn't going to cry for her. My father had always told me, truth doesn't need to scream, it just needs time. So I waited. When Mr. Graham finally spoke, his tone was calm but firm. "Mrs. Linda," he said, "are you finished?" The air grew thick with tension. She smiled, crossing her arms, confident that she had already destroyed me. "Yes," she said smugly. "I just think everyone deserves honesty." He nodded slightly. "Then let's begin." He opened the folder, and the sound of rustling paper filled the silence. "Mr. John Miller," he began, "was a man who valued truth, family, and loyalty above all else. He prepared this will carefully, down to his final words." I braced myself, praying silently. Linda leaned back, smirking, certain that my world was about to collapse. But the next words shattered hers instead. "To my beloved daughter Emily," Mr. Graham read, "whom I have raised and loved as my own blood, I leave the house, the savings account, and my business shares." Gasps echoed again, but this time for a different reason. Linda's smirk vanished. Mr. Graham looked up. "John specifically stated in his will that Emily is, and will always be, his daughter. There is a letter included to verify what he meant by that." The lawyer unfolded another sheet of paper, written in my father's familiar handwriting. My eyes blurred with tears as he began to read. "Emily, if you are hearing this, it means I am no longer there to protect you from people who never saw your heart. I may not have given you life, but you gave mine purpose. I chose you, and I will always choose you. Don't let anyone make you feel less than my daughter. You are my family always." The words broke something inside me. I couldn't hold back the tears anymore. The room was completely silent, all eyes now on Linda, whose face had turned pale. "As for Linda," Mr. Graham continued, "she is to receive only what was agreed upon in our prenuptial arrangement and nothing more." Her mouth opened in shock, but no words came out. It was poetic justice, delivered not by my hands, but by my father's love and truth. I watched as she stood there, trembling, realizing that her plan had backfired completely. People started whispering again, but this time it was about her. Her lies, her greed, her cruelty. all exposed in front of everyone she'd hoped to impress. She tried to leave the room, but her heels caught on the carpet, and she stumbled, clutching her purse as though it could save her dignity. For the first time, I didn't feel invisible. I felt seen, truly seen, for who I was and who my father had always believed me to be. After everyone left, I sat by my father's casket one last time. The sun streamed through the stained glass, casting soft colors across his face. I whispered, "You kept your promise, Dad." For the first time since his death, I smiled. The pain of loss was still there, but it was lighter, wrapped in gratitude and peace. Linda never looked me in the eye again after that day. She tried to challenge the will, but the evidence was solid. The lawyer stood by my side through it all, making sure my father's final wishes were honored. Eventually, she moved out of the house and out of my life entirely. In the end, the truth didn't just silence her, it freed me. I learned that family isn't defined by blood, but by love, loyalty, and the choices we make to stand by each other. My father chose me, and that meant more than any DNA test or document ever could. Sometimes the cruelest lies crumble under the quiet power of the truth. And when that happens, you don't need to scream, fight, or seek revenge, because justice, when rooted in love, always finds its way home.